hunter's moon of the Black Forest. In the year 1786, in the heart of Germany's deep, dark Black Forest, an entire village simply disappeared. No bodies were found, no signs of a struggle, just an eerie, profound silence. The only thing left behind was a single, weathered diary hidden beneath the floorboards of an empty cottage. Its pages held a secret so terrifying that it has become a whispered legend, a story that still sends shivers down the spines of those who dare to camp too deep in the woods on a night of the full moon. Dunkelheim, dark home. It was a small, isolated community of about 100 souls, woodsmen, farmers, and hunters. They lived a simple, hard life, shadowed by the immense ancient trees of the forest. For generations, the elders told a chilling folktale around the fire. They spoke of the wolf's Jäger, the wolf hunter. Centuries ago, a ruthless hunter named Alaric roamed these woods. He was a giant of a man, known for his unnatural strength and cruelty. It was said his hunger for the hunt became so twisted that he began to stalk human prey. The villagers, terrified for their lives, eventually trapped him deep in the forest and burned him alive in a makeshift cage. As the flames consumed him, Alaric screamed a curse. "Curse! You who have taken my life and my hunt, I will return. I will hunt you all. With every full moon my spirit will walk, and I will claim one of you as my prize, until this village is nothing but a memory of your screams." For years, this was just a story to scare children into behaving. But in the autumn of 1880, the story began to write itself in blood. It began with a shepherd named Hans. He lived in a small hut on the edge of the village with his flock. One morning, after a bright full moon night, he was gone. His hut was empty. His bed was cold. But on his straw mattress, they found clumps of coarse, grey fur, too thick to be from a wolf, and the room reeked of ozone and damp earth, a smell that was both alien and deeply wrong. But they assumed a wild animal was to blame. They organized hunting parties, but found no trace of Hans or a beast. A month later, on the next full moon, a young woodcutter's wife, Elsa, vanished from her home. The front door was shattered from the outside, and deep, parallel grooves were carved into the hard wooden doorstep, as if made by monstrous claws. Panic began to set in. The old folk tale was no longer a tale. The following month, the terror became undeniable. A child claimed to see a tall, shadowy man with glowing eyes peering through their window before the family dog, a large German shepherd, began snarling at the door. The next morning, the dog was found dead in the yard, its neck broken, but there was not a single drop of blood on the ground. It was as if its life had been sucked out. The village was now paralyzed with fear. They barred the doors and windows on full moon nights, but it made no difference. The entity, the wolf's Jäger, was not a physical being that could be kept out by locks and wood. It was a part of the forest itself. The village elder, a man named Gustav, whose family had lived in Dunkelheim for centuries, gathered the terrified people. His face was ashen. "It is not a ghost," he declared, his voice trembling. "And it is not a wolf. Alaric's curse has twisted his spirit into something else. He has become a Jägergeist, a hunter spirit. He does not just kill. He consumes the very essence, the life force of his prey. He is tied to the lunar cycle, and he grows stronger with every soul he takes. He is making the forest itself his hunting ground, and we are the game." The villagers were horrified. How do you fight a spirit? Gustav revealed an old, forgotten text. The only way to stop a Jägergeist is to break its connection to this world. It must be lured into a trap, and its spiritual form must be bound with iron and salt, the ancient elements of earth and protection, at the very spot where it was created. This meant going back to the clearing where Alaric was burned, a place so feared that no one had ventured there in living memory. It was a suicide mission, but it was their only hope. On the eve of the next full moon, a brave group of hunters and villagers, led by Gustav, ventured into the heart of the forest. They carried old iron chains and pouches of precious salt. They planned to lure the spirit and bind it. The rest of the village huddled in the church, praying for their safety. That night, those in the church heard it. It wasn't a howl. It was a sound that seemed to come from everywhere at once. A low, guttural growl mixed with the triumphant laugh of a man. It was the sound of the hunt. The hunting party never returned. The next morning, an unnatural silence had fallen over Dunkelheim. The birds did not sing. The wind did not rustle the leaves. The villagers who had stayed behind were gone. Every single one. Doors swung open on their hinges. Plates of half-eaten food sat on tables. It was as if they had all vanished into thin air. Weeks later, a gamekeeper from a nearby town investigating the strange silence found the village empty. In his search, he discovered a diary hidden under a loose floorboard in Gustav's house. The final entry, written in a frantic, shaky hand, tells the horrifying end. It is the full moon. The men have not returned. The sounds from the forest have ceased. The silence is worse than the screams. It is here. I can feel it in the air, a pressure that is suffocating us. It is not just one spirit anymore. It has grown. It has consumed the hunting party and has become a plague. It is in the mist that creeps between the houses. It is in the shadows that move without a source. We barred the church door, but the mist, it slid beneath it. We are not being hunted one by one anymore. We are all the prey tonight. I hear them, my people. Their voices are just whispers on the wind now. It is taking us all. The Jägergeist has become the forest, and the forest is Hun. To this day, the Black Forest stands, beautiful and dark. But locals and seasoned hikers still tell warnings. They say that on certain nights, when the full moon is bright, you should not venture too deep. You might feel a sudden, chilling silence fall around you. You might catch the faint scent of ozone and damp earth. And if you listen closely, you might just hear the echo of an ancient hunt on the wind, a reminder of the village of Dunkelheim and the Wolfsjäger who still hunts.